Get ready for an exciting journey through the social sciences. This week, or within the 2 weeks, I'll be your guide as we explore the dominant approaches and ideas in the social sciences. Before we focus on the rational choice theory, here's what to expect on this video series about the dominant approaches and ideas in the social sciences. First, we'll delve into the empirical analytical approaches, where rational choice theory belongs, and it will be followed by historical hermeneutic approaches and empirical critical approaches. For this video, we'll zoom in on the micro-level approach of the empirical analytical approach, where we'll examine the individual experiences, interactions, and behavior of small groups of people and how they shape the larger social structure. Specifically, this video is all about the rational choice theory. In future videos, we'll cover another micro-level approach, which is the symbolic interactionism, and will be followed by the macro-level approach, which takes a look at the big picture of societal patterns and structures, and their impact on individuals and communities. And we'll also explore the interdisciplinary approach, where theories, methods, and perspectives from multiple disciplines come together to study complex social phenomena and provide a more holistic understanding. But before we start on the rational choice theory, here's a brief comparison between the three approaches of the empirical analytical approach. The micro-level approach focuses on the individual experiences, interactions, and behavior of small groups of people. It examines how these interactions and experiences shape the larger social structure. On the other hand, the macro-level approach looks at larger societal patterns and structures and how they impact individuals and communities. An interdisciplinary approach combines theories, methods, and perspectives from multiple disciplines in order to study complex social phenomena. This approach helps to provide a more holistic understanding of the topic being studied and can lead to innovative solutions. Rational choice theory. Have you ever wondered why people make certain choices and behave in certain ways? The answer to that question can be found in rational choice theory. Rational choice theory, or RCT, is a powerful tool in making sense of why people act or behave in the way they do. Basically, RCT is a tool that explains human behavior. In Wordsworth, Elster said that the theory states that when faced with several courses of action, people do what they believe will result in the best outcome. The theory is based on the individual's preferences, beliefs, and feasible strategies.
A long time ago, rational choice theory started when some people in America were trying to study how people make choices about things like politics. Specifically, RTC can be traced back to the behavioral revolution in American political science of the 1950s and 60 seconds instigated by behaviorists, which was the reason it's commonly called as behavioral movement. Behaviorists adopt the view of positivism about the nature of empirical theory and explanation. In contrast to other social scientists, behavioralists believe that observable behavior, whether it is at the level of the individual or the social aggregate, should be the focus of analysis, and any explanation of that behavior should be susceptible to empirical testing. It means that people's actions and the way groups of people behave should be studied. They also think that any explanation for why people do what they do should be able to be tested using evidence. The RCT has become a dominant approach to political science, at least in the US. But while it traces its beginnings to the behavioral movement, rational choice theory draws on the methodology of economics in contrast to behaviorists who drew on sociology or psychology. Using similar methods as in standard microeconomics, it is the economists who carried out largely early work in rational choice theory. The most important tool used is the game theory. Central to the game theory is strategic interdependence, a situation where others' choice of strategy affects an individual's best choice and vice versa. In short, game theory is a tool used to look at how people's choices affect each other.
According to Lauman, a central feature of rational choice theories is the predominant focus on the individual as the actor making the decisions. An assumption of the mainstream variant of RCT is that individuals have all the rational capacity, time, and emotional detachment necessary to choose the best course of action, no matter how complex the choice. Rational choice theorists try to explain political phenomena by using the behavioral conjecture that actors are rational, that is, they make propulsive, goal-seeking choices based on their own preferences, are able to rank alternatives from best to worst, and choose according to what is best for them given their own preferences or tastes. In simple terms, the theory says that people make choices that are best for them based on what they want. The theory says that people have all the ability, time, and emotional detachment needed to choose what is best for them, no matter how difficult the choice is. The theorists believe that people make choices that help them reach their goals based on what they like and what they don't like. Imagine you have 3 choices for lunch today: pizza, sandwich, or salad. And rational choice theory says that people can pick their favorite lunch option and order their options from best to worst. Like if they like pizza the most, salad second, and sandwich the least, they'll choose what they like the most and what's available. Imagine if you have to bring the food home and then you consider your companion's health condition. It may be diabetes or something else. You add another factor in decision making, and that's just about food choices. Imagine when you make bigger decisions like choosing a job or a house or a partner for life, it becomes even more complicated. That's how the idea of making choices works. Again, RCT focuses on the individual as the decision maker and assumes that individuals have the rational capacity, time, and emotional detachment to make the best choices. It is based on the assumption that individuals rank alternatives from best to worst and choose what is best for them. From the theory's name, it assumes that people's decisions are rational, and even in circumstances in which action is irrational, it provides a standard against which action can be judged and indicates variables that might lead to departures from rationality. Rational choice theory says people make choices that are best for them by comparing different options. But it doesn't say if those choices are morally good or bad, or benevolent or evil. It just says that people try to choose the option that will help them reach their goals in the best way possible, implying a cost-benefit analysis of alternatives and strategies. Here are some advantages of rational choice theory. First, it forces you to be explicit about assumptions that are often left implicit in verbal arguments. To simplify, it makes people clearly state the ideas that are usually not said out loud in a discussion or argument. Second, it provides a positive heuristic, which is a set of categories that help in constructing explanations, a set of exemplary examples of good explanation to emulate, and suggestions about fruitful lines of research. Remember the pizza example I said. Imagine you want to explain why pizza is your best choice. The positive heuristic is like a toolbox that gives you some rules and good examples to help you explain your ideas better and come up with even better ideas for the future. It's like having a helper for making your arguments stronger. Third, it provides a unified framework of explanation across different fields of the social sciences and across subdisciplines, allowing cross-fertilization across diverse phenomena of ideas and a viewpoint from which common patterns can be seen across diverse phenomena. Lastly, even in circumstances in which action is irrational, it provides a standard against which action can be judged and indicates variables that might lead to departures from rationality. And now, let's look at what the critique says about rational choice theory. Ward identified 4 modes of criticisms of RCT. 1. The heretic's critique emphasizes bounded rationality. 2. The sociologist's critique RCT underplays social structure and holistic modes of explanations. 3. The psychologist's critique individuals do not often act rationally, contrary to RCT's assumptions. 4. Critique from mainstream political science on the basis of the implausibility of the assumptions made and the predictive failures of the model. To explain the first mode of criticism, bounded rationality refers to the idea that people's decision-making abilities are limited by their available information, cognitive biases, and time constraints. It suggests that individuals do not make perfectly rational decisions, but rather make decisions based on what they believe to be the best option given their limited information and computational capacities. This concept challenges the traditional view of rational choice theory, which assumes that individuals always make perfectly rational decisions. Instead, bounded rationality acknowledges that human decision-making is influenced by psychological, social, and cultural factors and is subject to limitations and biases. To explain the second mode, it means that RCT tends to ignore the ways in which people's behavior and decisions are influenced by larger social and cultural forces, as well as the interconnectedness of various aspects of society. Instead, RCT focuses on individual decisions and actions, viewing them as the result of rational calculation based on self-interest. This can lead to a narrow understanding of social phenomena and overlook important elements of the social world. To explain the third mode, the assumption in rational choice theory is that individuals always make decisions that are rational and logically thought out based on a cost-benefit analysis of the available options. However, this assumption has been criticized by psychologists who argue that people don't always act rationally as they can be influenced by emotions, biases, and cognitive limitations, which can affect their decision-making. This means that RCT's assumption of rational decision-making may not always reflect reality, and that there may be other factors that influence people's behavior and decision-making. To wrap up, rational choice theory has its limitations, such as not considering intuitive reasoning or instincts. It's a good tool to understand human behavior, but it's not the only answer. It's important to remember that when making decisions quickly, like in survival situations, there may not be time to weigh the costs and benefits. Keep this in mind as you use rational choice theory to explain people's actions. Remember, it's one way to understand human behavior, but there are other perspectives to consider as well. Again, RTC provides valuable insights into human behavior, but it is important to remember its limitations and to consider other perspectives as well. So next time you wonder why someone made a certain choice, remember the power of rational choice theory and how it can help you make sense of human behavior.